I ended up losing everything in penny stocks that someone I knew suggested me to.
They make $180,000 and they're driving a couple of beaters and mommy's going to bail them out? Come on, Josephine, did you just hear that?
I made the mistake of doing rental arbitrage last year.
Dude, how much TikTok have you been watching?
Well,
this is like by the book, every TikTok like business hack scam out there.
So today we're going to be taking a look at some of the call-ins on the Dave Ramsey Show. If you think the guests on the financial audit are bad, some of these situations are even more ridiculous. I mean, people not being able to survive making $180,000 or $300,000 a year. Just completely out of touch with the rest of the world. But we got a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with someone who fell for all of the TikTok guru side hustle courses.
I made the mistake of doing rental arbitrage last year.
Dude, how much TikTok have you been watching?
Well,
this is like by the book, every TikTok like business hack scam out there.
So between my wife and I have about $142K in consumer debt. Huge fork in the road right now. I've got a toddler and a kid on the way due this summer. Trying to decide if I should do a single filing for a Chapter 7 or...
Well, how much money do you guys earn?
Right now, we only make about 78 total. With myself, I have 72 to my name, and then another, well, it's actually 181,000 if you include student loans. But so student loans is 39, car is 17,284, and then everything else is personal loans, personally guaranteed loans, and personally guaranteed credit cards.
What was it for? A business? Did you have a failed business? What is this? All of these personally guaranteed loans and credit cards?
Well, the dream was basically to, retire the wife from the military. I went about it completely the wrong way, obviously, and, just dug myself into a hole doing business ventures, Airbnb. We tried an Amazon store, and then after the layoff, we ended up having to live on the revenue from the Amazon store. So I'm not able to pay off any of the consumer debt that I used to get the Amazon store.
And this just keeps going on and on, one after another with the different hacks, and you can make money doing this and that. Just all of the guru courses we've talked about a million times on this channel. And because of that, he's racked up well over 6 figures of debt, along with having to take care of a family as well. It's not like he's just on his own. I know a lot of people are waking up to the grifters on social media recently, so hopefully things like this won't happen as much in the future.
My husband and I are in disagreement about whether or not to gift one of our kids money. One of us feels like we have been generous to them financially and it's time for them to stand on their own 2 feet. And the other one of us says we have much to be grateful for and we have money and we should give them the money if we can afford it. I'm proposing $30,000.
Why? What do they need $30,000 for that grown people can't go get on their own?
So my daughter married someone with considerable student loan debt. They keep being hopeful, like many young people are, that their loans would be forgiven. They have to replace their cars, and they don't have the money in the bank to
Do they not make any money?
They do make money.
Where's their money going?
Yep.
If it's not going to student loan, it's not going to cars. Where's it going?
Well, they have 2 kids, so How
much do they make, Josephine? Do you know?
Yeah, I think their income's about $180 a year.
You've got to be kidding me. They make $180,000 and they're driving a couple of beaters and mommy's going to bail them out? Come on, Josephine, did you just hear that?
And that's all that really needs to be said. They obviously don't have high car payments and are not paying down their student debt, so where's all of that money going? But let's just go right over to the comment section. Me and my partner make $237,000 a year, almost 20 grand a month, and have no kids. We're barely surviving. We rent and both have 12-year-old cars. Someone doesn't know how expensive life is. I hope that this is just a rage bait comment. It's gotta be, right? There's a reply to that saying, no, you're doing something wrong. I agree. Depending on where you live, $180,000 a year usually isn't a ton with debt and kids. Again, there's a reply saying, that's plenty, bro. Okay, so $180,000 after taxes, at least where I live in North Carolina, is a little bit over $127,000. I know it could be a little bit different depending on what state you live, so let's just call it an even $10,000 a month. If you can't survive on $10,000 a month after tax, then you're just living above your means. You bought a house in an area that has a very high cost of living out of your price range, and you're living a lifestyle you cannot afford. But let's actually take this one step further with $300,000 a year.
So why can't you live on $300K?
Why
I'm calling.
No, I'm serious. When you write down your budget,
yeah.
what's the problem?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it in front of you on every dollar.
Right. And
Where's the freaking money going?
These are two isolated incidents. What's been happening over the years? What do you see? Where do you see the problem?
When you look at month to month, you got $25,000 minus taxes coming in. And so you got, you're dealing with 20 grand or so to live on.
Our take home is $13,600 a month.
There's something wrong with that.
Yeah, because if she's really saying that the only debt they have is $17,000 in credit cards and $8,000 in cars, that money's she's not telling us.
They're spending money on $10,000 here on ballet, and then and the ADHD was probably 10 or 15 grand on something they overdid.
Okay, so this is a couple things. Right off the bat, they're not telling the whole story. What's the point of calling into the show if you're not going to tell them everything about your problem? Yeah, they have a decent amount of debt in credit cards and a vehicle, but it's only around $25,000. Making $300,000 a year, I feel like that could get taken care of very quickly. So again, they're not telling the whole story. They're hiding what they're really spending it on. And yeah, apparently getting $25,000 a month is struggling now.
I ended up losing everything in penny stocks that someone I knew suggested me to, and now I'm back at my mom's house with my wife, and she's not too happy about it, and I'm just trying to...
How old are you?
Do you not have a job?
I do. I'm actually a manager at an In-N-Out. I don't know if you've ever been before, but...
we just got one here.
They just moved into the neighborhood. My point is this. There's no reason that you're at your mother's if you didn't lose your job. You just lost your savings.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I have a bit of debt. I have a few different cars, and I don't have really enough money to afford anything food-related or going out to have fun. And I kind of just figured, because, the ultimate goal is to escape the lower class. And what I've read online is that you need to take a little bit of risk. I think I went the wrong way about that, but my goal is
I think you read about it in the wrong place.
We're just going to head on over to the comments section. Bros Broker, and it's Jordan Belford from the Wolf of Wall Street. Who invests in penny stocks? Honestly, him trying to justify it, saying to escape the lower class you got to take risks, but to me it just sounds like he was gambling on penny stocks and lost. And yet again, another example similar to the first. He has an entire family to take care of. It's not just him alone and oh no, I made a mistake, let me just reset everything and start back to square one. You now are bringing your family into that problem as well. And we got a comment from you guys right here. If I had a brother-in-law tell me he has $20,000 to put down on a car and he just needs me to co-sign, I would tell him to just buy a car with $20,000. Well, we're going to take that comment and we're going to expand on it up to $400,000.
My older sister is going through divorce, which is a terrible situation, of course. Previously, my sister, all three of her kids were attending private schools. Her and her husband driving luxury vehicles, fancy vacations, living extremely well. Recently, we've discovered that they have under $50,000 in savings, and that includes retirement accounts. That's everything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My sister is expecting to buy her husband out of their current home and her dental practice, and she needs $800,000 to do that.
How is she expecting to do this?
And it turns out she had reached out initially to my parents, and they had agreed to provide her with $400,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Do they have that money?
They do in their retirement. They're retired.
Did it feel like that's a significant part of their retirement, like a fourth or a third, or is it?
400 they wouldn't miss.
Okay.
And so my sister then reached out to me and asked if my husband and I had an extra $400,000 she could borrow. and we're pretty good with money, so we wouldn't have $400,000 sitting. I told her that, without selling one of our properties, we wouldn't be able to get her to $400,000, but, we'd still be willing to help. And then she called me back and told me, don't worry about it. She'd make other arrangements. So I spoke with my parents, and turns out they're the other arrangements.
So I could virtually guarantee that borrowing the $800,000 means you're giving her $8,000 with nothing in return. If they're living the luxury lifestyle with the cars, the houses, the vacations, and have less than $50,000 in savings and retirement in general, they're just going to go right back to that kind of life and not change whatsoever. And you're trying to rope in your own brother and parents into this awful situation. Just unbelievable.
I'm 27 and I'm in dental assisting school, and I also own an online boutique. I'm starting to pay for my mistakes I made when I was younger, and they were terrible. Like, I'm $40,000 in debt. Half is from my car, a Honda Civic. I'm financing it. I was young and dumb, and I decided to lease a Mercedes at like 23 years old. And when I returned the lease, the wear and tear, the miles and all of that, I still have to pay for that. So that's about $10,000. So I did take out a student loan up for about $5,000 because I'm in dental school, and FAFSA only paid for half, so I had to take out a loan. And then the other amount is just from like personal loans and credit cards. And I'm not working right now. I lost my job. So I'm like, should I file bankruptcy or should I just drop out of school and just...
What were you doing that you just got fired from?
Well, I didn't get fired. I decided that I was going to quit my job and run my business.
Because your business is bringing in a lot of income?
It was until I quit my job and started having to pay my rent with the money I made from my online business.
Okay, so, what are you making from the online business?
Right now, I'm not making anything because I just put it on pause. But I was making about $3,000
But why are you stopping?
Why are you stopping all the things that make you money? This is so illogical.
Okay, so I don't know if you caught that with everybody talking as well, but she decided to quit her job for her online business that was only bringing in $3,000 a month. That's before taxes also, and obviously cannot survive on it when she has to pay for her expenses. Her apartment, the rent, utilities, car payments as well. There are so many of those types of videos on social media saying that they risked it all and started their own online business and now they're multi-millionaires. If they're not lying right off the bat to sell you some sort of product or course, it's not nearly as easy as people think. Along with the choice of going all in on this business when it only made you around $36,000 a year. And now she's definitely dealing with the consequences.
Goodness gracious, man. Your Jeep is nicer than your house.
It is.
Y'all are just living like you're in Beverly Hills, not West Virginia in the hills.
How do we get rid of vehicles when we are so upside down on them? Because that's our biggest hurdle right now. We'll start off with the most expensive. It would be my wife's Jeep. We owe $47,000 on a good day. High Kelly Blue Book value is $35,000. And then my car, it's a Civic. We owe $21,000. On a good day, it would be $18,000 that we could get. And then we have a motorcycle as well. And motorcycles are weird. It's hard to find a direct value with those. But we owe $10,000 on that. Would be lucky. I'd like to think I could get $8,000 out of it.
Is that all of your debt? You guys have other types?
We have a lot of other debt, and that's what we're trying to get on top of. Yeah.
What are the total payments for these cars?
So the Jeep is $960, the Civic is $455, and the motorcycle is $305.
What's your household income?
About $67 a month after taxes.
Okay. Are you guys doing any investing right now?
No.
And you got over $1,700 in payments on these vehicles?
Yes, unfortunately.
What's your rent or mortgage?
Our mortgage is $468 a month.
$468? Do you live in a trailer?
I do, yes.
Goodness gracious, man. Your Jeep is nicer than your house.
And he said that was only part of the debt, $1,700 in payments with 3 different vehicles. And they legitimately chose that over living in a nicer area. A $47,000 loan on a Jeep when you make $80,000 a year is wild. And this comment from you guys goes well with everybody wanting a nice car. The Air Force guy with the truck is exactly the mindset of young men going in. I went into the Navy in 1985. I was about to buy a used Ford Mustang because it was the cool thing to do. Fortunately, my dad talked sense into me and I bought a used Corolla instead. Now, we've also seen a couple of examples of that. Military guys getting an absolutely horrible deal on an STI, Camaros, Mustangs at 25% interest rate, and just getting destroyed by those types of payments. But apparently, it's the cool thing to do.
I have been married about 20 years, and 15-ish years of that marriage, my husband was an alcoholic. He is now 3 years sober. But in the midst of the chaos, we have not filed our taxes since 2020. And I'm not even sure.
Midst of what chaos? He was drunk for 20 years. When did the chaos happen?
Well, it really was a downward spiral. It just got worse and worse. He even had a couple of DUIs. So it just kind of reached a peak.
So 20 to 23 was him going to the bottom, and 23 to now is coming back out.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But this is just like a looming black cloud over us because I know we have to pay the piper.
Yeah. The first thing to know is this, and it's very, very serious. Failure to file income tax returns is a federal criminal offense. Failure to pay taxes is not. People do not go to jail in America for not paying taxes. They do go to jail, around 2,500 to 3,000 of them each year, for not filing. So we've got to get that off of you. The number of times that the IRS prosecutes someone who comes out of the cold, off the grid, on their own is almost zero. So you're going to initiate this filing immediately.
Okay.
I don't want them accidentally finding you in the next 30 days and really screwing up all of the positive progress he's made in the last 3 years.
I mean, I know that the alcoholism would have been pretty tough to deal with, but not filing your taxes is just a guarantee to have a ton of problems down the road. Even if they do what he said, it's not like they're just going to be absolved over the past few years of paying those taxes. They're going to have to pay everything they missed, which most likely is money they don't have right now.
My husband has committed financial infidelity 3 times, and every time that he was caught, we had to refinance and all of that.
So he runs up debt behind your back and lies to you.
Yep. And I told him the 3rd time, if he does it again, we will divorce. I'm not doing this anymore.
So he did it again, and are you divorcing?
This happened like 2 weeks ago.
The third time was 2 weeks ago?
The 4th time was 2 weeks ago. He did not come clean. I found it. My friend does financial whatever for a company, and she helped me do a credit check on him, and we found it.
So, so are you divorcing then?
I checked in yesterday online to see how to get divorce papers. Yeah, I'm still going back and forth. We've been married 41 years together. I started a cleaning business. It's just me after our youngest son graduated. So I've been taking that money and we put it into a savings, and we consider it like fun money. So we use it for vacations, house projects, whatever. My question is, do I go and get his name off of that account?
You need to go see a divorce attorney and let them advise you on what you're allowed to do in the state of Pennsylvania while filing divorce.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like she's actually going to go through with it. 4 separate times and nothing has changed. I really don't know how people live like this. All of your money disappears because your partner is terrible with it, and there are basically no consequences, so it just keeps happening again and again. Unreal.
I'm about $65,000 in debt, $45,000 on a car that I leased for my wife, $5,000 on credit cards, and about $15,000 on other unsecured loans. And living paycheck to paycheck. I do work 3 jobs, but living paycheck to paycheck and don't have any savings, nothing for retirement. I'm 42, and just wondering if being able from this point to get to millionaire status, combined all together, I'm bringing roughly between 105 and 125 a year.
Is your wife working outside the home?
No, my wife had 2 strokes back in 2019, which she is 100% well. She's good.
That's great.
But she doesn't work, and she doesn't want to work either as far as outside. She's a homemaker. She stays home and takes care of the house and the kids, what their needs. So
why did we need a $50,000 car?
Well, she's never had a new car. And
what's your lease payment?
Well, no, it's $628.96 per month.
Do you guys have money in savings at all?
We don't have any savings.
And no retirement whatsoever?
No retirement whatsoever.
Okay. Well, I can give you some good news. You asked, is it still possible for me to become a millionaire? Yes.
Yes.
If you guys are done playing this game.
Just another form of keeping up with the Joneses. I've never had a new car. I see everybody else driving around in them. And all of that kind of stuff, along with medical issues, serious medical issues, turns into having absolutely no money in savings or retirement in your 40s. Now, it's not impossible for him to eventually be able to retire around 65, but it is going to be much harder, especially if you compare it to somebody starting to save in their 20s. That's why I always say becoming financially literate as early as possible is incredibly important in today's world. And we got a comment from you guys that goes with this. The scariest one for me was a 65-year-old. Debt is bad at any age, but at that age, it's terrifying. Because previously we saw a clip very similar to the last, but it was somebody who was 20 years older. And honestly, at that point, it would be incredibly difficult to retire, and you'd probably be working until you're in the grave.
My husband and I own a gym here in New York City, and about a year ago, right before I had our baby, we decided to move into the basement of the gym to save money on rent and then kind of make it so that I could be a stay-at-home mom and run the business at the same time. In that year, because we were able to save so much money, we paid off $70,000 of our business loans, but we still have about $120,000 in debt, and we're trying to decide when to move out. Because we're not technically supposed to live here, and it's not the most comfortable living situation, but we do want to pay off the rest of our debt.
So when you say technically, do you mean it's not legal?
It is not zoned for it.
Oh, boy. Well, that poses a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, one is the actual legal implications. Another one's just the integrity of the situation on top of the risk that you're putting yourself in, especially with a baby. I mean, is it even safe to have a baby there?
It is safe. It meets all the requirements of the windows being above ground and like the ceilings being high enough, all of that. It's just the zoning.
Well, the real question is, why can't you guys afford rent and start to knock out this debt?
In New York City, rent is so expensive. We were paying $3,000 a month for an apartment that was basically, a closet.
And to add on to that, I've been seeing a lot more people talk about owning gyms. The popularity of going to the gym, lifting, bodybuilding has increased a lot over the past decade or so, and because of that, gyms are popping up all over the place. But from what I've seen, it's almost like a passion project. They work on very fine margins. It'll be very difficult to make a ton of money off of a gym, and especially if you're in New York City, one of the most expensive places on the planet. And another thing that I thought right away is, why are you telling anybody you're doing this? Clearly they could get in trouble if they're caught, but also going on the Dave Ramsey show admitting this to the world probably isn't the best idea. I would have probably kept a bit more quiet about this one.
Well, here's our situation. My husband and I, we owe the IRS and the state over $600,000 in debt.
Good Lord, how did that happen?
Yes. It's overwhelming to even think about how it happened. Just not paying our taxes, and my husband is self-employed. So
for how many years?
Just quite a few. I'm actually not even sure on the date, how far back it goes.
So you finally started filing, and then you end up with try to stay out of jail, because not filing is criminal, and so you go and file, and now they give you the total, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And
obviously you don't have 600,000, or you wouldn't have called me.
No.
Okay, so once a year when everybody's talking about taxes, they just completely ignored that and thought that they were an exception, that they didn't have to pay. And now when they finally have to deal with this problem, they have a $600,000 bill that they don't have the money for. Where did it go? Could it have possibly been living above your means once again? And now you have the IRS on your back for more than $500,000? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to be in that situation whatsoever.
My wife and I have 4 children. She is a stay-at-home mom. I make about $32,000 to $35,000 a year. Together, we have about $100,000 in debt. We are kind of new to the Dave Ramsey thing, so we got the money, the app, and all that, and we're going through. Most of the debt is mine. I have about $80,000 of the debt, with $30,000 of it being student loans.
30 of your 80 is student loans?
Yes.
Okay, what's the other 50?
I co-signed for a car when I was 18, and that's $20,000, and the car got repoed, and I have some stuff for school that wasn't covered by student loans, some medical things, and just kind of like all small things that add up. I have no credit cards whatsoever.
Those other small things add up to $30,000?
Well, with the car is $20,000 of it.
Yeah.
I owe a college $14,000, and then I owe some like 2 different medical bills that come up to $10,000, and then another $5,000 is to another school. So
okay. And what's your degree in?
I did not get to finish due to having kids.
And now you support a 6-person family with $30,000 a year? That's basically what everybody said in the comment section. 27 with 4 kids and a $32,000 salary is insane. 6 people on $32,000. I think a single person would struggle to make it with $32,000. And you could also add the student loans and personal debt, bouncing from school to school, and you never ended up getting your degree in the end. Sounds like he needs to find some way to make more money along with the wife, because I don't know how they're making it in today's world.
I need some help here. In the last 12 months, I have racked up over $60,000 of credit card debt and personal loans, and I don't know how to tell my husband this, but the house of cards is collapsing.
It's pretty scary. Isn't it?
What happened along the way?
Well, I have been in charge of our finances, and I basically give my husband 10% of his pay for food and his activities, and the rest of his money I was supposed to be using for the bills in the house, but instead the girls and I were getting massages, pedicures, our nails done, expensive lunches, just living life. And,
so
so
you're handling
are.
the whole household budget on your own, or your finances are separate and you on your own have gone into debt?
No, I don't work. He just pays for my excursions.
Okay, so we'll just go straight over to the comments. This is worse than cheating. Divorce, period. Imagine working and only getting 10% of your own pay. This is just another form of abuse. Now, this is a pretty extreme example of what I've said many times before, but your partner needs to be on the same financial page as you. If one's making the money and the other one's spending it all, it's almost inevitable that it'll crash and burn down the road and end up in a divorce. It's crazy how many different examples of this type of situation we've seen on this channel.
I found out that my husband was gambling online, and all of our savings has pretty much been depleted, and we have quite a bit of debt.
How much?
It's a total of $120,000.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, how much did he steal from savings?
I couldn't even tell you the total. We're basically starting from square one. He's gotten a loan to take care of the debt that he needs to pay back. So I guess we're kind of focusing on going to counseling and getting ourselves back into a healthier place independently before we start to kind of focus on next steps with the marriage. But right now, I just need to know kind of how to prioritize my funds. I know I need to save and invest for retirement and to also like build up that emergency savings. I got my own checking account established.
Good.
And then we have a joint one for him to have a portion of his paycheck to go into so he can cover the debt that he's repaying.
What do you make?
I make about $75,000 a year.
What does he make?
Between $90,000 to $100,000. Our monthly income after taxes and deductions is about $9,000 a month.
And $9,000 a month after taxes still wasn't enough for him. He needed to go and gamble to win big. And obviously that didn't happen. They lost everything. And if you've seen my gambling videos before, nobody ever takes this seriously online. I bet you $10 he gambles again, and the next one is somebody giving up just before they win big, they get all the diamonds. I feel like I can make a weekly video just talking about gambling addiction in today's world.
We actually were sold a home illegally, and we are wondering if we should claim bankruptcy. We wanted to get some things done like fencing and encapsulate the crawl space underneath, and we learned that when we went to go get the property surveyed for the fencing, that the property didn't exist. And so there were no permits. There's no CO on the house.
What do you mean the property didn't exist?
They told us the property didn't exist in the county. There was no house that was on that property.
I'm confused. You bought a house sight unseen?
No, we bought the house. We saw the house. The county had no idea the house was built.
Oh, so the house was illegally built on that land in the first place with no permits, and then that person sold it to you. How did you even go through the closing process? Was it just done through the seller?
No, it was done through all of the bells and whistles that you're supposed to do with inspectors and real estate agents and lenders and everything. And they still sold it to us.
I mean, aren't there titles to be cleared? I mean, I'm just so confused how nobody caught this.
Sue the title company. It's their job to make sure the title is clear. This is the title company's fault. They sold a property without a clean title. Their title insurance should cover this. You do a blanket lawsuit and sue absolutely every single person involved. Welcome to the world of litigation. If the fencing contractor could easily figure this out, how did the title miss it? And that's basically everybody else in the comment section. So I wanted to put this one in because I've never heard of this situation on either one of the shows. But yeah, you decided to buy a home and now you have to deal with just a ton of legal problems.
I am a senior in high school and I got into my dream college and I don't know how to tell my parents. My dream school for my whole life has been University of Northwestern St. Paul.
How much is that tuition?
It's about $38,000 a year.
Okay. So what have you and your parents talked about when it comes to college?
So I've known that my parents were not going to help me with college. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and we live on just my dad's income. And so they don't want me to go there because they don't want me to go into student loan debt, which I understand.
What are you studying?
I was planning on double majoring in pastoral ministry and communications.
Emma,
we just talked to a worship pastor who's making $58,000 a year. It would take you like 7 to 8 years to pay this off. No, please, please.
Please no.
Pastoral ministry and communication. How could a university even offer that with a straight face? This is so bad. Her dream school has a 93% acceptance rate in pastoral ministry and communication. I was 100% with her until she said that ridiculous major. And another person did make a good point, even with what she was picking. How about 2 years of community college and then transfer? Even though so many people want to go to college for the 4-year experience. Being able to live away from your parents, finding new friends, partying, all of that. And if she goes through with this major, I feel like she'll just regret it down the road. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.